See, exactly. uh, what is OAuth exactly? Like, we'll see the definition and then I'll try to I'll take a generic example first. I'll explain that, and then we'll go to the technical definition. Okay, fine, right? What is a generic example exactly? Normally, we go to hotels, right? Okay, we go to a hotel, and then you wanted to you travel with the car. Okay, then what happens? There will be a valid parking counter, and then you give the keys to them, and then they'll take the car. Exactly, this is the process happens exactly. See, generally, what happens now? You are going to that particular hotel for the first time and you are completely unaware of that valid parking kind of, or what is the care taken by them or how they will handle and all, you are not at all aware of that particular process. And for that reason, obviously, immediately what happens, you will be scared to give your car. For example, like if it is a low valued car, obviously it is okay, generally will be okay. But for example, like if it is a BMW or RD car, exactly, like you will be scared to give that. And if he steal it, exactly, if he steals it again, that will be a problem. Okay, right? We'll have these kind of concerns, right? Okay, the same concern, if I have a special key, okay, which can restrict the speed of the car. For example, if there is a special key which can restrict the speed of the car, it cannot go more than 10 kilometers per hour, for example, this is one condition. And he cannot open the other doors of the car, maybe the dashboard, maybe the boot space. Okay, he's not able to access anything else apart from starting the car, that's it. Okay, and then he cannot move more than 1 kilometer. Okay, if you have a special key with you, okay, now at least some security is there on your car, right? And control is there, right? Exactly. Normally we don't have that kind of special key. Please think of it. Maybe for the expensive cars or premium cars, maybe there is there, I don't know exactly, but still I'm telling you.
Electric bikes are available.
Okay, okay, fine. Now you have given the special key to the valet driver. Now he took the car. Okay, if he has the mindset of stealing the car also, it would be difficult, we can easily catch him. Exactly. Okay, the same scenario, we can correlate to walk also. Okay, now see, what generic example, what did I tell you? We have a restaurant and we went there, and valet place is there, valet car parking, and then we have given the special key. If you don't have the special key, you should give the key, the entire asset. Okay, if he steals this, the entire asset is gone. Now at least you have the control over his usage till what extent or till what distance and all, exactly. Okay, the same way OAuth also will help us to give the restricted access to the other users. What is this restricted access? Okay, there are 10 things in one. 1, 2, 3, 10. I wanted to give only to access to these two. I can give the access to restricted access to the resources, exactly, with the help of OAuth process. Okay, now I'll come to the actual this thing. What is a OAuth exactly? Full form. What is the full form of OAuth? OAuth stands for Open Authorization. Okay. Sorry. OAuth stands for Open Authorization. And see, always I'm using OAuth 2.0, 2.0. Okay, there was a 1.0 also. Okay, and it is not currently in use and all, exactly. And it is less secure than OAuth 2.0 and little more complex. Because of that reason, most of the industry, most of the organizations are using OAuth 2.0. There is no necessity of learning OAuth 1.0 at this point of time. Even OAuth 2.0 is a very big concept, and you can spend hours together for learning that. But as a MuleSoft developer, whatever is required, we'll try to learn that exactly. Okay, fine. Now, next, what is that? I told you it is an authorization framework, not an authentication protocol. You can see there are two words here: authorization, authentication. Okay, we'll see. Just remember, it is an authorization framework, not the authentication one. I'll tell you what is authorization, what is authentication in the next coming few minutes exactly. Okay. And it is a standard for authorization where a user allows an application to access their resources, okay, hosted on other application on another application on their behalf without sharing the credentials. It means that you are giving, see, the understanding of this particular sentence is nothing but you are trying to give the restricted access to the user. A special key has been given to a user, okay, and he can access only certain things. For example, like another example I can take it is, uh, normally we'll have our own houses, right? And for example, like we are staying in a different city, and there will be real estate brokers. We wanted to rent out our house or sell our house. Okay, now if there is a special key for your house exactly, only uh, the maybe safe lockers are there, so many lockers will be there, right, inside your house, and there are some valuables. Okay, you haven't entered that house. There is a special key only which can access the door and they can see the room. No other cupboards key access and all exactly. Now that is also a restricted access, right? Okay, the same way there is a server, there are some resources on it, and we are giving the restricted access to the user. That's it, simple. Okay, don't think too much about it and all. It is given restricted access, that's it. The meaning of this particular sentence is that only.
Even for any point platform also, right? We can't access all the things, right? Only particular things we can access.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, we'll see anyway. Now this definition I'll explain in clearly within another few slides exactly. Okay, right. Now see, for example, like I cannot correlate all the scenarios with our project exactly. For that reason, what I'll try to do, I'll try to cover all the scenarios, and whatever is relatable to our project, I'll relate that at later point of time. Okay, I'll take the generic example and then I'll go to the all scenarios, and then whichever scenario is matching to our project, right, that particular scenario I'll correlate exactly. Okay, fine. Now we'll see what is the flow exactly. For doing this, it's not so simple as we thought, like, okay, for implementing the OAuth process, right, it is not simple as we thought exactly. Okay, directly you have a special key and then give that exactly. You need to manufacture that special key, right? You need to do that, and you need to do the background process the same way. For doing the same, there is a background process. What is that exactly? These many number of steps will be involved in the process exactly for implementing the OAuth. Now, for that reason only, we are calling it as a OAuth flow. All these steps together known as OAuth flow, and we can call it as dance also, OAuth dance, because it is happening to and fro, right? That is the reason they call it as dance also. If there is some word used called dance, again don't get confused. Nothing but the series of steps happening for the entire OAuth process is known as dance or OAuth flow exactly. Okay. Now, and I have used authorization code grant. Just remember this. Why this is called as authorization code grant, we'll come to know in a few minutes. Okay, right. Now, what happens exactly for implementing this process? We need a authorization server. We need a authorization server. See, for example, like Mule runtime is there, Cloud Hub is there for deploying your Mule applications, right? The same way, for implementing OAuth process, there will be separate authorization servers exactly. Okay, separate authorization servers and separate companies selling those services also. One among them is Okta, OAuth, Auth 2.0 or something. Okay, Worry Hydra. There are so many in the market. Okay, who provides OAuth related services exactly. Fine, and even Amazon has services. Amazon also has. Google also has. Okay, they have their authorization services exactly. Okay, now I'll take the example. See, generally, this particular example, right? Now, whatever we are going to discuss, this example, I'll just show with the, whenever you wanted to sign up to a different platform with the help of Gmail or Facebook or maybe GitHub or LinkedIn, exactly. this particular process is followed exactly. Okay, I'll show that. For example, this website is there, for example. Now I want to sign into this website. I don't have account at all. What is the first step exactly? Sign up, right? I'll try to sign up. There are two ways to do the sign up. What is that exactly? You can fill up your email ID, password, and then if you are belonging to some organization or institute, you can try to do that and sign up. This is one way. The other way is Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, GitHub. Okay. Maybe I'll use Zomato, but Zomato doesn't have that option. But I just wanted to show that. For that reason, I took that Zomato name exactly. Sign up. Yeah, they have Google actually. Only Google. They don't have option with Facebook. Okay. See, one is directly you can sign up. Okay, and the other one is you can sign up with the third party service, Google or Facebook or whatever. Here I just took this example because I can show you the more number of options. Okay, what happened, you can sign in with Google, you can sign in with Facebook, you can sign in with LinkedIn or GitHub. See, for providing this service, this particular company, Geek for Geeks, what they will try to do, they will try to already establish a connection between Google and Geek for Geeks, Facebook and Geek for Geeks, and LinkedIn and Geek for Geeks, GitHub and Geek for Geeks. You understood, right? See, because if I click here, there will be some background process happening. For doing that, they already communicated with Google itself, and then they have configured something. What they should do, if I go here, similarly think Zomato is trying to allow you for the sign up with the help of Facebook. Okay, this is Facebook, and they wanted to allow you with the help of Facebook. Now I told you, right? One option is, the first option is with the help of directly filling up the details. The second option is we can use the Facebook service. Now I'm avoiding the first option. I wanted to use the second option exactly. Now for providing that service, already this Zomato has registered with Facebook authorization server. Okay, for displaying that as this service, right? They have to register with Zomato has to register with Facebook, and then for that reason they'll have one client ID and client secret. See, Zomato has registered with authorization server of Facebook, and they receive one client ID and client secret. Okay, got it? On their website they wanted to show that service, right? For showing that service there should be some mechanism which has to be happened. Okay, for that reason I'm telling you there is a mechanism happened between them, and they have given the client ID and client secret. Okay. Okay, read right, CID and client secret available, registered with FB authorization server. Is that clear? Any confusion here? No, right? Then only that option is available on the website. Otherwise, you will not be able to see. Okay, right. Now, I am a new user for Zomato. Okay, I wanted to utilize the second option. I don't want to go with the first option. Okay, now what I will try to do, I will try to click on that sign up option, and then I will click on this particular option. Now, what this will try to do, this will try to redirect to Facebook website. Okay, Facebook website. How it will do, I'll show you. Can you see the option? Now you can select the account. Okay, I have multiple accounts, that is the reason you can see here exactly. But if I have only single account, single account will be shown because I have logged in already. Okay, if I don't log in, if I go to incognito window and Geek for Geeks, see, just correlate exactly. Or Facebook also. Can you see this? It is taking to the Facebook login page. Okay, because it is a new incognito window, that is it is diverting there. Then I will give the login and password of Facebook. Okay, now what happens, and it will ask immediately what details should I provide to that particular geek for geeks. Should I give the entire thing or should I give the only few restricted resources? Obviously Facebook knows that you are using it for geeks exactly, and it will give you the provision to tell like only profile details, not anything else exactly. Okay, you understood, right? Now once you entered the details, it will ask for the consent exactly. Now it redirected the page, and then you have provided your login and credentials, right? This is the first step, it happened. Then what happens, it will ask for the consent form. What details should I provide? Got it? I'll go back here. I'll go to incognito tab only. I'll go back here and then Gmail. Okay, see. Okay, I have given my username and it will ask for my password, right? Okay. Okay, see that consent form particular point is there, right? Exactly, that consent form access has not been given. The reason here in this particular model, why it already decided I will give access to only profile details, that's it, nothing more than that. If they wanted, they have some list, this 1 2 3 exactly, then they will give you the option consent form option. You'll check mark it, only provide the option to this particular thing, and I am giving the consent of mine, and then it will be going to the next step exactly. In some website you can see that way, in some website you can see this way exactly. Okay, now what happened, see, it took the details and then it created an account. If I go to my account, my name, everything will be there. I haven't entered my name, everything, right? Exactly, till now. But how do I get the details? It fetch the details from Google, exactly. Okay, it took only email, that's it, nothing more than that. Normally it will take the name, first name, last name, all those things also, exactly. Okay,
User type is after school.
where is it? Okay, maybe working professional. Okay, see in it now, what is it doing, it created some account with the details, some details, and then it is asking for you with the more details exactly. Okay, you understood the concept, right?
Yes.
Now I'll go back here. It asks for the consent, and then you have given the consent. Okay, and then what happens is there will be another process called authorize exactly. Okay, next step, what is this? This is step 1, step 2, and now authorize step is happening. Okay, fine. Now what happened exactly? See, you registered, you tried to register, sign up on Facebook, sorry, Zomato, and then Zomato redirected you with the Facebook thing, right? Now, while sending this particular request, what are all the details it will send? It will send already client ID, client secret.
Yeah.
Okay. Along with that, after finishing this process, redirect the user to my website. That also redirect URL will be given. Got it? See, once the process is completed with your website, redirect my, see, did you see that
Yeah.
automatically Geek for Geeks website has been opened? How does the system know? I entered the website inside website. How does it know? It has sent while sending the request client ID, client secret, and redirect URL also is there. And in the third step, in this step, right, it will try to generate a code called authorization code. Okay, auth code, and then it will redirect to Zomato website with the help of this redirect URL. Confusion or clear? Okay, authorization code will be generated. Okay, and then it has redirect URI also. That URI also will be used and it will redirect to Zomato. Now I have the authorization code with me. Exactly. I cannot use this and access the resources. Okay, right. Now what happened? I will use this authorization code and then I will try to send a request for token, authorization token. Exactly. What are all the things I'm sending? Client ID credentials, authorization code, and with the help of token endpoint. See, all these are again URLs will be there, request will be sent, you will be sending request and you will be receiving the response and all. Okay, but it happens in the background process with the help of systems itself. Exactly. Okay. Now, for this process, you receive the token. Now I have the token also. Okay, now what I will try to do, I will use this token and I will access. See, in the consent form, I told only access profile details. Okay, I told only use my profile details. Profile details means what? Name will be the first name, last name, and whether I'm married or not, what is the age, maybe restricted details. But I'm not giving my friends list, photos, I'm not giving location tags, whatever is required. There are hundreds of resources in Facebook, right? Only I told take the details of my profile. That's it, nothing more than that. See, there are how many resources? For example, I took 4 resources here. I have given the restricted access for only profile details. Rest other will not be accessible. In the consent form, it is decided. Okay, is that clear? Now, with the help of access token, I will be accessing get profiles. It means that Zomato will access the get profiles thing. If it tries to access friends list, it will be rejected. Okay, now token is there. This particular Facebook's resource server should know whether it is a valid token or not, right?
Yes.
Okay, what it will try to do, it will try to send a validate endpoint. Okay, it will use a validate endpoint and then it will try to communicate with authorization server, check this token whether it is valid or not. Okay, whenever this server has generated the token, right, this token will be saved in a database in the form of a table. Already authorization server has your token details, right? For this particular client ID, okay, this for particular client ID, this is the token, okay, and this is the grant type. Okay, auth code is the grant type. Already it will fetch the details from table and it will validate the token, this token and the token is matching or not. If it is matching, then it will say proper, you can go ahead. Now Zomato will receive the profile details and then it will create the account for you. Clear? What is it doing? We are trying to utilize the second option of signing up with Zomato. Okay, Facebook has been used as a logging partner exactly. Okay, I clicked on Facebook, and then it redirected, Zomato redirected our page to Facebook credentials page, and you entered the Facebook credentials. Okay, and then you have said okay with the consent form also. See, no, nothing, only 1 2 steps you will be able to see in Geek for Geeks. I'm able to see only providing the password and username for Google. The rest steps I have not seen. Okay, there may be a difference between steps exactly. Okay, but background, all these steps will be happening exactly. Now I have given the consent to use my only profile details, and then it generated a authorization code, and it is sent to Zomato server with the help of redirect URI exactly. And then Zomato has used that auth code and another endpoint token for generating the auth token. Client credentials also sent exactly, and then it will receive the access token. This access token along with the, this is the actual endpoint exactly. You are using the actual endpoint at this point. Till now you are using the different process exactly, right? See, this particular user, no, okay, chalo, access token is there, and you are eligible to use only the get profiles. See, for example, now only that is also read profile will be given. Can Zomato delete your profile? No, it will be given the read access only. Okay, read access only. Even in profile also, there are so many resources, right? For example, like in Facebook, you can create your profile, you can delete your profile also, right? You can edit your profile, right? Okay, for editing and deleting you require more uh, what to say, oh, options, and I'm not getting the exact word. Okay, chal, more options to do that exactly. But still, here I'm just giving the access for reading my profile details, that's it. They cannot edit or they cannot delete it. You understood it? We are trying to give the restricted access of Facebook profile details to Zomato. Now compare your example, restaurant example, valet car parking. You are giving the restricted key to driver. The driver here is Zomato. Before this process, right, you need to give the entire Facebook credentials, username and password to Zomato. Zomato can do whatever they want on your account before this OAuth process. They see, they told I will use very safely only. At the time of conversations, they told with Facebook we'll use properly and will not misuse them. Okay, but they started misusing it. They can delete your account, they can see your friends list, they can see the photos, they can see your locations, they can track everything. Whether that is a good process or giving a restricted access is a good process. This is the second one, right? Okay, for that reason this has become so popular and it is widely used now. Is that clear? Any questions?
So what is the purpose of using third party direct connect or the policy without restriction మీరే యూజ్ చేసుకోవాలి అని చెప్పేసి
That is what
కాంప్లెక్స్ కదా సార్ ఇది
no background, obviously that is the process exact. See, for doing one, you have swiped your card. See, for 3 APIs we have done, right? For what exactly?
సిస్టమ్
No, one transaction. For transaction API, how many APIs we have done? 3 APIs. Why can't we do it in single API or single resource? Why do you complicate it so much exactly? Okay, always the implementation will be complexer. It will be complex at any point of time. It seems very simple for us from the front end, but in the background there is a lot of, see, I told you it is a very simple example, but still in the background these many number of steps are happening. See, for example, like you wanted to initiate an online transaction, first of all you need to log in, you need to provide your username and password, and then for that one API will be there. You need, see, I'm telling just entering login and password, but again there will be some server, you need to validate that credential whether you have provided a username password properly or not, or whether user is properly or password is wrong. All the combinations need to be verified. See, what is the background process? It is checking everything. Okay, for that reason, any process front end, it will be very, very simple for us. Exactly, in the background there will be so much work which will be done. Here also, OAuth is a simple concept. We wanted to give a restricted access to the user, but for implementing that, these many steps will be happening. Okay, for every communication, there will be a request and response. You'll be using URLs and all. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the reason I used here. See here, authorize /authorize/human. This is Facebook account, and here also Facebook related thing only used. And then we are trying to use the authorize endpoint exactly of the authorization server, and it will go to the request. And then here token. For token, there will be a separate endpoint exactly generation, and then sending the token get profiles plus access token. You are using the actual resource endpoint now to validate the token, validate endpoint. Okay, this authorization server will give all the details for us exactly. Got it? Okay, fine. Now see, this particular flow is known as OAuth 2.0 flow or OAuth 2 dance. Why are we calling this as a dance exactly? There are some actors involved. This is one actor, this is one actor, this is one actor, and the flow is happening between different actors. That is the reason it is known as OAuth dance or OAuth flow. Okay, right. See, this particular profile, who is owning it? Who is owning it? This user only, right? See, I am the user, okay, who has an account with Facebook, and I wanted to use the Facebook account and create a Zomato account, right? Who is the owner of this Facebook account? Myself only, right? Right? That's the reason I call him as resource owner. He's owning the resources, right? I can call him as resource owner. Till now, I am calling him as user, and who is owning the resources? Facebook is owning the resources, right? And that is the reason we call that server as resource server. Okay, and who is the client in between? Zomato. That's the reason we can call it as client. And who is the authorization server? Facebook's authorization server. All these four are known as actors exactly. Okay, and dance is happening between the actors because the for token generation there are so many steps and all for that reason. Okay, see, terminology understand. People will ask you like what is OAuth dance exactly. You can tell that the steps involved in the process of generating the token are known as OAuth dance or OAuth flow. Or if they ask you, please explain me the OAuth flow for client credentials or authorization code. Or for authorization code, at least if you communicate these steps, this is more than enough exactly. Okay, you got the thing right. Now see, this is only one part of OAuth exactly. There are different ways or different ways of implementation. Here I just wanted to tell you, I have written a word called authorization code grant, right? Okay, why I am calling this as an authorization code grant? Because I have used authorization code to generate the access token, right? To generate the access token, what is the first step? We received authorization code, and with the help of that authorization code, we are trying to generate the token along with the client credentials. That is the reason this particular code grant type is known as authorization code grant. Right? Got it right? Any questions? This particular, see, for this particular flow I'm telling it this is a authorization code grant type. Why I'm telling that? Because for generating the token, access token, I'm trying to utilize authorization code. Here more steps are there exactly. Along with authorization code, for generating the token I'm sending the client credentials also. That is fine, but still. Okay, right. Now I wanted to understand the terminologies. Now we understood the process, right? If we understand the terminologies also, it will be good, right? Who is the resource owner? The user who owns the account, Facebook account. Say for example, like in this case, I am the Facebook account, right, holder, and I own the resources, right? That reason I will be the resource owner. Is that clear? Resource server, the server that hosts the protected resources. Who is protecting the resources now? Who is hosting the resources now? Facebook, right?
Yes.
That's why we call that Facebook resources server is known as resource server. The server that hosts the protected resource that the client wants to access. Who is the user who wanted to access now? Zomato. Zomato is known as client. Okay. The application that is requesting access to the protected resources is known as client. Okay. You're getting the clarity now? Okay. Now, who is the authorization server? What is the authorization server? The server that handles the authorization process and issues tokens also. Right? Here, Facebook can have its own authorization server or some the third-party services like Amazon or the Okta or Orihydra. Okay, whatever is their ecosystem. Okay, you understood, right? They can use. There will be a separate server for sure for doing these kind of services. Exactly. Okay, fine. In my previous organization, I was using Orihydra server. In the current organization, we are using Okta server. Okay, and even MuleSoft also will provide authorization server exactly, but it will have some limited capabilities exactly. Okay, right. Now, is this clear? Okay, I think client, authorization server, resource owner, everything is clear, right? Right. Next. Now, authorization code. What is authorization code? A temporary code that the client receives after the user authorizes the request. See, I authorized it, right?
Yeah.
After I authorize, then only I received the authorization code, right? That is a temporary code. I'm telling the same thing. A temporary code that the client receives after the user authorizes the request exactly. Access token. A token that the client uses to make request to the resource server. Okay. Refresh token. This is another concept exactly. I'll just tell you. I'll not tell the in-depth details of this exactly. Okay. See now what happens. Access token is generated, right? Along with access token, you will be receiving a refresh token also. Okay. What is that refresh token? A long-lived token that can be used to obtain a new access token when the current access token expires. See, for communication, you're using access token. Along with that, you received a refresh token also. It will just refresh the existing token once it is expired. See, I'll tell a time. It is available only for 1 hour. Access token is valid for only 1 hour. For example, if it is used in 1 hour, it is okay, or multiple times also used, it is okay. After 1 hour, it will be expired. See, OTP, how much time it will be there for your mobile OTPs and all? Maybe 30 seconds or 10 minutes or 15 minutes based on the level they have set. Some OTPs will be 10 minutes, some OTPs will be only for 30 seconds exactly, right? The same way for here access token also, we will try to restrict the time frame. For example, I told 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, you raise the request and it is properly processed. Now, after 15 minutes, in the 16th minute, you sent a request with the same token. It will tell expired and you will get authorization issue. Immediately, you have a refresh token with you. You will use the refresh token and generate a new token. It will refresh the existing token. It will get the new token for you by avoiding the entire steps again. Got it? A long-lived token, and for this also there will be a time frame. Maybe for example, like 1 hour for access token, maybe for 5 days for refresh token. Within that 5 days, you can use the same refresh token to refresh the access token. Other steps will be removed. Okay, refresh tokens are typically used to maintain long-term access to protected resources. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now, scope. What is the scope? For example, I have given the special key to the valid driver, right? I told him You have the access till 1 kilometer. You can access my car and you can drive it for only 10 kilometers per hour. You cannot exceed the speed. Okay. All those kind of restrictions are there, right?
Yes.
That is known as scope. I told in this particular example, Zomato can access only profile details. Not only profile details, only read profile details. Not even they cannot delete it or edit it. Read profile details means that I gave the read access to that particular resource. Read means get access. That's it.
So nothing but authorization of the client.
You are giving this restricted access to that. Exactly. What is the restricted access? Which access he is allowed for?
The particular selected.
Even in profile details also, I have read, write, and all, right.
Yes.
See, I can have get, post, put, patch, delete. These many resources. I'm giving access to only get resource. That is known as scope. Clear? Both act as the following agents: resource owner, resource server, client application, authorization server, who are responsible for the process. These are known as, these people are the, these agents are responsible, right? For that reason, we are calling them as actors. Okay, right. Now, OAuth dance or OAuth flow. What is this exactly? Already we discussed, right?
Yeah.
OAuth dance, also known as OAuth flow, refers to the series of steps involved in the OAuth authorization process. Exactly. The dance typically involves redirecting the user to the authorization server to grant permission, exchanging an authorization code for an access token, and utilizing the access token to access protected resources. The entire steps have been explained here. That's it.
What is the flow happening?
Okay, you can tell it as the steps involved for creating the token and accessing the resource is known as OAuth dance or OAuth flow. We wanted to know authentication and authorization also, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. What is authentication? Authentication is the process of verifying a user's identity. How do we know that? See, Zomato is using Facebook auth server, right? I told you we will be registering first and we'll check client ID and client secret, right? Yes or no? Now, Facebook authorization server knows how many clients are there for that particular Facebook authorization server. No, as soon as it sends a client ID and client secret, it will check whether I have provided this client ID and client secret or it is a different client ID and client. It can verify it, right? It can verify whether Zomato is the right user or not before giving the rest of the access and all. That particular process is known as authentication, verifying the identity of a resource, exactly, user. That in the context of OAuth 2.0, authentication typically occurs at the authorization server where the user logs into their account and confirms their identity. See, if you go here, I have sent client ID, client secret, redirect URL. Also, when I redirect the user to Facebook account, now Facebook received the request. If this client ID is not there and client ID and client secret is not there in the authorization server, it will not go to the next step.
Can't identify.
First of all, it will check, for example, like 100 food apps are there. Okay. Otherwise, 100 applications are using Facebook authorization server services. Now, for 1, 2, 3 is the client ID until 100 is there. And I passed, I know their sequence and I passed 101.
It won't accept.
Because 100 is not registered with the authorization server, right? How it will accept? Now what is happening? It will try to authenticate the right user first and then only it will allow for the other process.
Sir, after the rate limiting also.
Rate limiting I'll come. Exactly. Rate limiting is never related to this. Exactly. What is rate limiting exactly? Rate limiting is nothing but how many requests are coming. For example, like per hour I allowed 1000 requests. In that 1 hour, within half an hour I finish 1000 requests and 1001 request is coming. I will not allow this 1001 request till this 1 hour
Time frame.
time frame. After 1 hour only, then only I will start with other 1,000 requests. Exactly. That is rate limiting policy. See here, for example, I'll explain you with a generic example. You wanted to go for a vacation. Okay. For example, like I wanted to go to Mumbai. Okay, I want to see some places there. I went to Mumbai. Before going there, I booked a hotel. Okay, and then before booking the room, they will ask for your identity proof and all, right? You provided everything, and then you booked it, and you received a booking ID. Now today we landed in Mumbai and we traveled to hotel. As soon as you go, obviously what happens? Security will check with normal regular thing if it is a big hotel, right? And then we'll move to reception. You go to reception, they'll ask for, sir, what is the booking ID? You show the booking ID. Sir, can you please show your ID proof? They'll ask you, right?
Yes.
Right? Okay, booking ID, they'll have who is the booking holder, name and all, right? And then they will see the name is matching or not, and ID is matching or not. Now the receptionist is authenticating the user. Then he will be given a room key. Whether he is able to allow the whole hotel or only that particular room, he will have access to maybe some generic facilities. Maybe if there is a swimming pool, there is a cafeteria, there is a gym, common gym. Okay, for example, he will be able to access those common resources as well as his room. Can I access the other people's room?
No.
You have the restricted access. Okay, first step, what is the first step? They are authenticating the user, and then you are authorized to use the only specific resources. Is that clear? Okay, see, actually this authentication and authorization combinedly called as OpenID generally. Okay, OAuth means only authorization process is known as OAuth, but in real time people use OAuth. Both authentication and authorization combinedly are called as OpenID. OpenID connect, exactly. Okay, OpenID. Authentication will come into only OpenID. Okay, with only authentication, can you do something? No, without authorization. The important aspect happens in the authorization process, exactly. Okay, OpenID connect. Okay, fine. I don't want to confuse you people. That is the reason I never took again to that level and all. That is not at all required also. But whenever this come into picture, authentication and authorization, right? See here also, if you observe, authentication is happening. I'm sending the client ID in client secret because I have registered, right?
Yeah.
If you send the same client ID and client secret only, you will be allowed.
Yeah.
If you send a different client ID,
Don't have it.
you are not authorized. Okay, you will not be proceeding to the second step. Got it, right? Okay, see here. Authentication is the process of verifying a user's identity. In the context of OAuth 2.0, authentication typically occurs at the authorization server. We call it as authorization server, but still even authentication will also will happen in the same server, exactly, where the user logs into their account and confirms their identity. How? With the help of client ID and client secret here, exactly. This ensures that only authorized users can access their protectors. Okay, clear, right? Okay, authorization, already I told you on hotel example, right? Exactly, you are giving the restricted access to whichever resources you have the access. Okay, authorization is the process of granting permission to perform specific actions. In OAuth 2.0, authorization occurs after authentication. First verification of the user will happen, and then restricted users will be seen. That is the reason authentication will happen first, authorization will happen the later, exactly. User grants the client application permission to access their protected resource. The scope of authorization determines the level of access the client application has to user data. For example, profile details, you have a get, put, patch, delete all, exactly, resources, but you are giving the access to only get, read. Clear, right? That is known as authorization. That's it. Grant. A method by which the client obtains the access token is known as grant. Okay, what are the grant types exactly? I told you authorization code grant, right? I used authorization code for generating the access token. Access token means some people will call as auth token, okay, authorization token, access token. These kind of terminals can be utilized exactly. Okay, OAuth 2 defines several grant types. What is that? Authorization code grant. What is the authorization code grant? Whenever you are using the access token process of using the authorization code to generate the access token, then it is known as authorization code grant exactly. And there are some other things also, different authorization code grants also. We'll see it in next coming few minutes exactly. What are those exactly? Client credentials grant. You will only pass client credentials, client ID and client secret. That's it. You are not going to use anything else. For generating the token, you will give client ID and client secret. But in what instances you have to use that particular method, you should know that. For that reason, I'll take you a use case and I'll explain that. Now, resource owner password grant. Along with the client credentials, your username and password also has to be passed. Okay. In that context, that is known as resource owner password grant. For generating the token, I'm using different ways exactly. Okay. Different ways are known as different grant types. That's it. Got it? What are the three different grant types? Client credentials grant type, authorization code grant type, resource owner password grant type. Is that clear? Each grant type has a different authorization flow. The dance steps are there, right? For each authorization, sorry, what is that type exactly? Authorization code grant type. It will have a different steps exactly. We should know that. Now, redirect URI. I told you that a URI, that authorization server redirects the user to after they have authorized the request. And the redirect is specified by the client when it initiates the authorization. Clear or any questions here? Clear, right? Okay, that is the reason I first explained with the diagram. Now we discussed all the related thing with the detailed explanation. Any questions? Fine. Now we'll move on to the next thing. This is also discussed, right? Why it came again? Okay, extra one. Okay, extra I think. Now I told you two other grant types, right? We need to see the steps for that also, right? Okay, right. Now see, I have already created my account with Zomato, right? Already account is there with Zomato. Now I wanted to order some food. Okay, okay, today I wanted to order some food with Domino's or Pizza Hut or something exactly, for example. Okay, this is the case. Now I already have the account. I will log in. Okay, and then I will order the food. In this case I can use client credentials granted exactly. Okay, we'll see what are the steps involved. Okay, I wanted to order pizza, and then you'll be logging to the Zomato, and then you'll be seeing the Domino's for example, and you'll click on Domino's. I wanted some pizza types in Domino's, right? How do I get it exactly? Okay. Hmm? We need to see again now Zomato and Domino's should communicate with each other, right?
Yes.
Okay. That is the reason Zomato is already available here. Here, just give me a moment. There is some confusion here. This is one mistake. Okay. This is Domino's. Okay, I'll correct it and send it. Okay, this is Domino's. Okay, I logged into Zomato and I want exactly Zomato should communicate with Domino's, and then only it can give you the pizza types, right? What are all the pizzas available exactly? Okay, for that reason, already what happened? This is Domino's system, and what are all the pizza types, offers, restaurants? Okay, all these details will be restaurant details and all available on the resource server of Domino's exactly, and then it has again it is a authorization server. Okay, the scenario is now I am ordering some food. Okay, Zomato to Domino's is the communication. For happening that communication, Zomato should already register with client ID and client secret, right? Yes or no? Right? Now, they have client ID and client secret, and they will send a request to generate the token. What with the token client ID and client secret, and then with the token endpoint. See, now you opened your front end app, okay, and you clicked on that pizza types or Domino's, okay, and you wanted the pizza types, right? Now in the background it goes to the Zomato server, okay. From Zomato server it will go to Domino's server, right? Yes or no? Now the communication is happening between Zomato server and Domino's server, right? Now what happens? The client ID and client secret is there, okay, and then he passed that and he knows the token endpoint, okay, and then this will provide you the access token. It will receive the Zomato server will receive the access token, but access token has any information related to pizza types? No. Now Zomato will use the get pizza types resource along with the token. Got it? It now it should validate, the resource server should validate the access token, right? It will send the token details to authorization server, and then it will validate. It said it's okay. For example, they have used this token after 1 hour. Domino's told it is valid for only 1 hour, for example. Okay, and after 1 hour we used, it will be unauthorized exactly. Okay, you got that right? It should be in the specified time limit only. Now, what happens? Everything is proper. Pizza types will come to Zomato server. Now Zomato server to mobile app. Yes, got it? Here, this user has any control over this particular data, and this is common for all Zomato users, right? Only this server is communicating to this server. In that context, you need to use client credentials granted. Okay, server to server communication, and user don't have any access or any control over the resource server. He doesn't own anything. Got it? And whether you have less steps or more steps here? No, less steps only, right? When compared to authorization code. Authorization code, you have less steps, right? See, authorization code type is the most preferred way and highest security. Okay, but here in this context, when Zomato server communication, server to server communication is happening, okay, backend server to backend server, obviously there is no requirement for authorization code kind of process exactly. You can go for client credentials granted. Here, to generate the token, what are the things you are using? Client ID, client secret. That's it. That is known as, it is known as client ID, client secret, or client credentials granted. Is that clear? Okay, fine. Again, in this process, this is the client, this is the resource server, authorization server. He is the user, he is not the resource owner because he is not owning these resources. That's the reason I call him as user only. There are again 4 actors in the process. Again, this is known as OAuth dance. OAuth dance or OAuth flow is different for client credentials when compared to auth code. Okay, right. I told one more, right? What is that? Resource owner, password, granted. Okay, this is one mistake. Remember this. This is Domino's actually. Now here, I used Zomato for 2 to 3 months exactly. Okay. Now I wanted to see the history of orders. Okay. Now I wanted to see the history of orders. For example, like for 1 month, for the last 1 month, I wanted to know how much money I have spent, for example. Okay. And I want to see all the orders. For example, like you have some in the last 1 month, you ordered 5 times. Okay. Now 5 orders will be there. In each order, what are the what are the items you have done, what is the price, what is the order value, everything will be there, taxes and everything. I want to fetch all those details exactly. Now where it will be, Zomato mobile app is there, and in Zomato backend server is there. If there is a communication between Zomato mobile app and Zomato backend server, that is more than sufficient, right?
Yes.
Right? Yes or no? Resource server, whose account is this? My account. Then I can become the resource owner here.
Yes.
Because I have the control over
To check the orders.
orders, right? And it is only specific to me, right?
Okay.
And you will not be, see, for example, like my orders will not be accessible to any of you, right?
Yes.
Yes or no? Here I am the resource owner, okay, and it is in Zomato resource server, not in the Facebook or not in the Domino's exactly, okay. And this is the front end and this is the back end. Again, there is a communication, right? Okay. Now I wanted to put a request, get order details. Now from front end, what happens? The request will go to backend and then it will receive the details, right? Exactly. See, I wanted to receive the order details of mine exactly. How does server know? This front end will send the client credentials. Already this front end app and backend server, there is a registration. What is that? Client ID and client secret are already available. In all the steps, client ID and client secret will be available. Okay. Along with client ID and secret, you will be sending some extra details also. Okay. Now client ID, client secret is already available here. And I am trying to communicate with the authorization server, okay, to generate the token. But it is very, very user specific. For my user, I wanted the order types. For that reason, I will be passing my username and password also. If I don't send, how does that authorization server know, or how does the Zomato backend server know only this particular user details has to be there? Right? You got it? That is the reason I will be sending username and password. Now, along with client credentials, what are the details? Username and password has been sent, and then you will be receiving the token. Now you wanted to access the get orders with the token. Yes. Okay. Now only my details will come. See, in between again, this step will be there, right? Validating the token. I forgot that. What are the details used to generate the token? Client ID, client secret, and resource owner username and password. That is the reason we call it as resource owner password grant. Okay, these are the, there may be some other grant types also, but still these are the three main important things. Among them also, most of the time, auth code and client credentials are the most important ones. Okay, is that clear? Any questions so far? Okay, we'll see now. Grant types, when to use which grant types exactly. Already we know, but we'll try to summarize them. Okay, then we'll have some we can knowledge and we'll keep that in mind for more time exactly. Okay, see, access token is generated using authorization code. That's the reason we call this as Authorization code, grant type, exactly. Next, sign up using third-party apps. When do you use this? When you wanted to sign up with the help of third-party apps. Third-party apps, for example, like I am creating an account or signing up with Zomato with the help of Facebook. I am calling this third-party app. And then ownership of data, resource data lies with the user, right? I use Facebook. In Facebook, profile details will be owned by me only, right? That is the reason I told you ownership of resource data lies with the user on third party app. Is that clear? Okay, authorization code grant. Next, client credentials. Access token is generated using the client credentials. No ownership of resources. The data is common to everyone. Pizza types. See, you ordered some pizza type, for example. For you, for me, for everyone, it will use the same client and client secret. Zomato.
Pizza list is the same way.
Because it is registered with Domino's, server to server communication is there. Okay. Not only that, Zomato to Domino's communication, server to server communication is happening.
Yes.
Okay, right. And server to server communication. In these kind of instances, you need to go for client credentials. Resource owner password granted. Access token is used generated using the client credentials plus resource owner credentials. Exactly. Ownership of resources lies with the users because and what are all the orders and all, who owns it exactly? Myself, right? To get data on the specific user from the client's app server. Got it? Any questions? Now, is the OAuth done? Not yet. Only theory is completed. Theory also, there is one more topic. Okay. We'll discuss that topic and then we'll try to close the session for today. Then we'll start implementing Experience API and apply this policy also. Okay, fine. Sorry. What is the policy we try to use exactly? OAuth. In OAuth also again there are so many. Okay, I'll go to API manager. Okay, I can select anything exactly. We'll see what are the policies available. We're not going to apply. Already client ID enforcement has been applied on SAPI and TAPI. Okay. This particular policy, what is that? OAuth policy should be applied on Experience API. Okay. Now I'll go to policies. Okay. See here. So all this, right? See. Now we are going to talk about this exactly. JWT validation. Most of the time they use this exactly. Okay. That is the reason. But for understanding this, till now whatever we have discussed, right? That is very, very important again. Okay. See, I told you Mule also will act as a OAuth provider, right? Okay. Authorization server. Even it means that OAuth sorry, MuleSoft itself has that kind of service they will try to provide. Exactly. No need to have a separate server. If their requirement is very strong and they wanted a separate server, it is up to the organization. Gateway also, embedded gateway is available. They can use the other gateways, right? The same way here also, they can use the embedded authorization server, not embedded or authorization server of MuleSoft, or they can go for a separate server. Got it? Okay, fine. What is this? JWT validation. See here. What is JWT? JSON Web Token. What is that? JSON Web Token. We'll see what is this JWT policy exactly and what happens here, and then we'll move on to, we'll close the session. Okay. JWT stands for JSON Web Token. What is that meaning? The token will be in the form of JSON exactly. It will have some details. Okay. And what is that? Compact self-contained JSON object. That's clear. And what is the structure? Three parts will be there. One is header, payload, and signature. Okay. And one signature also will be there. It is the total JWT, JSON Web Token exactly. Okay. Now, see, JWT will look like this. Okay, token will look like this. But this token will consist of, I told you, header, payload, and signature. Okay, this is the header. Okay, this is the header. Header in which color? Red color, right? Here also, if you see, dot is there. I told you it will be separated by dots, right? Okay. Before dot, red is there. That red information is nothing but your header information. What is that? What is the algorithm and what is the token type? Token type is JWT and algorithm used is HS256. Just remember that. And payload. See, this is the sample one. I went to this JWT website and I scrolled down and then I'm able to see this exactly. If you have the token, you can keep it here and then you can see the details here. Okay. Payload will have so many details. Okay. Issuer, who issued the token, all those details will be available here. Okay. Whenever we generate, right, we'll paste the token here and then we'll see here. Then we'll understand each component. And then signature. Okay, and all are encoded in the base64 format. If you observe here, see here, base64 URL encoded of header plus dot base64 URL encoded of payload. Okay, then secret, comma secret, and signature, and they have encoded it exactly. Can you see this? Okay, this is the form of JWT exactly. It will be like this. Now, why is this useful exactly? I'll go to the first slide itself, I think. Can I take this or okay, give me a moment. This is the image actually, and that's the reason you cannot edit. Okay, fine. Now, see, if you observe in all the processes, actually, what you have to do, you have to validate the token, and then access token should be validated, and then if it is right, then it will be passed on to the resource server, like saying it is correct exactly. Okay. Now, for example, Zomato will receive at least 1 to 2 lakh orders or 3 lakh orders per day, right? Right. Now they'll be generating the token. Okay. And every time they want to validate the token. Okay, right? Now, for example, like 1 lakh times calling the server for validation, it will take a lot of network resources, right? Okay. I want to reduce that. Exactly. For that reason, what they have done, they are passing a certificate along with the token also in the form of JWT method. Now, this process will be eliminated. Okay, to reduce the process of validation, okay, there is a new method called JWT, and they're following JWT method. How it will be, then you may get it out doubt like whether the token is valid or not. Exactly, how do you know? You have to understand the process, right? For that reason, we'll try to see reducing the validating token process will be a big issue, big, right? For example, like for every day we are getting 2 lakh orders, 2 lakh calls have been reduced, right? Between resource server and authorization server. Okay, that is a big saving, right? Okay, right. Now here, now client is, what client will do now, client will send the JWT token to the resource server. Okay, how it will send exactly? Okay, it will try to encrypt. Generally, what happens in HTTPS? In HTTPS, what happens? We'll try to encrypt with the help of public certificate, and then we'll send it to the server. Server will decrypt that message to the with the help of private key. Okay, and then it will decode the message exactly, right? The same way here also. That's it, simple, nothing more than that happens here. Okay, don't get confused and all. If you are not able to understand that it is more secured exactly, and we are eliminating this particular step. That's it. Okay, fine. Now this JWT token, okay, will be consisting of header, payload, and signature, right? It encrypted the total data, okay, with the help of its private certificate. Okay, and then it has sent the request to resource server. Now resource server has the public certificate. Okay, it will decrypt and see whether the payload and everything is proper or not. Okay, if it is proper, obviously it will not send for the validation, and then it will try to give the access to the resources. Got it?
Yes.
A key will be here, another key will be here, and they will try to see. Okay, that's it. That is the reason it is signed by the certificate exactly, digitally signed. Okay, for that reason this particular step can be removed exactly. Okay. Anything else can be, any doubts here? Any doubts? See, we will try to use this policy, apply this policy on experience API. JW